Welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. It's 106 right now, and temperatures outside right around 71 degrees. Not too bad out there. We could just use a little more sunshine. I'm sure that would brighten everyone's day just a little more. I'm meteorologist Dean, or I'm actually not Dean. I'm with Dean Wysocki. I'm Justin Storm, and we're with Ag Director Bridget Rito. Hey, we were doing pretty good there until that last little sentence.
Way to crash this plane.
Hey, you know what? It's actually okay, because not only did he take your job title, but your name, your checkbook, your car. It's going to be fine, Dean. You'll be okay eventually.
Oh, he can have all my bills. I have no problem with that.
I never said bills.
You hang on to those. Debt doesn't transfer.
Yeah.
Right.
That's stuck with you, buddy.
Hey, we've got our first 80. We've got our first 80 degree of the season.
Here?
Yeah.
Grand Forks?
Nope, Mayville. Just checked in with 80 degrees.
Wow, good for them.
A little more sunshine. Just actually up. There's an 81 there. And
I think it poked up to 80 yesterday in Grand Forks.
Did it hit 80?
If not close. At least, I'm pretty sure it said 79 at least.
Yeah, we're starting to see the clouds thin a little bit here in the FM area, so we should warm it up a few more degrees from where we're at right now. But there will be areas, see enough sun, lower 80s today. We haven't seen the 80s since, I believe it's September 19th was our last 80-degree day. So that's 8 months, almost 8 months.
That's a good hot minute. One could say a coon's age.
Pretty close.
A long time.
Let that one marinate.
A long time.
Hey, Justin, why don't you tell me about the possibility of storms coming in the
Justin,
area?
why don't you tell us about the possibility of storms coming in? Lord. Any hail?
There was hail last night. Oh, yesterday evening. Not here. West.
Well, out around Bismarck, and then did you see Colorado had to break out the snowplows? Areas around Aurora, Colorado, that big storm system tracking through Colorado, and that's going to increase our chance for rain as we head into the end of the week here. So it's looking a little drier, though, Bridget, in terms of, remember we were talking about an additional 1 to 2 inches on top of what we just had. Now that's kind of tapered off to maybe about a half inch to some spots might get an inch. But the western part of the Dakotas are going to get hit with some heavier rainfall out of this. But they can handle it. They can definitely take it in.
Well, a couple of things. They can handle it. They're also an area that earlier this week, west of Bismarck, had hail where they did have to bring out a snowplow in order to get that off the road. There was hail last night at Devil's Lake and north of Devil's Lake. Good to see that we're going to have a little less rainfall, although shout out to Steve, one of our weather watchers. He reported back that he had probably... Oh, wait, let me look at that image that he sent us. He had just shy of a half inch in his rain gauge. So we thank you, Steve, for sending that picture to us. We appreciate it. And additionally, for others who have our rain gauges, please make sure you let us know. Drop us messages, weather or ag@flagfamily.com, our email addresses, or call us on our Red Wing Shoe phone line, 701-293-9000, to let us know where rainfall totals stand for you. We know we're going to be getting more of them. And even though Steve got just shy of a half inch at Glendon, I talked to some growers north of Glendon at Averill this morning. They mentioned they would like to get back in the field tomorrow if Dean could stir up a little bit of wind. And we know how windy he is indeed. Once he does that, we could have some planting going on tomorrow, some sugar beets. Gotcha.
Got him. Hey, you guys, a couple of egg topics we're going to be covering today. Well, first, May is beef month. We love beef here, as well as booze.
Yes.
The other thing, there's another food plant fire. Go figure, right? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And if we have time, a little bit about biosecurity in livestock. And let's see, what is it relax? Is that what it is? Relax
for the
biosecurity livestock. Well, I got a weird typo here in my notes, so
you don't want it to be lax. We want to make sure that biosecurity with our livestock operations does not get to be lax. So, where would you like to start?
Well, why don't we just start off with beef month?
Okay. Well, there's a few things going on there. So, let me grab my notes for that. First of all, we know May is Beef Month. We know there's a lot of awesome things that are going on as far as promotions. In fact, next week I'll talk about the fact that there is a Best Burger in North Dakota contest that's going on. We also want to highlight the fact that North Dakota Stockmen's Association has been in existence for 93 years. They spend their time promoting, protecting, educating, and serving the state's beef cattle industry, and that membership totals over 3,100 people. They have a full-time staff of 26, and as of like 5:30 this morning, I booked the chief brand inspector for the state of North Dakota to be a guest with us here in a couple weeks. This is not Yellowstone. We'll talk about how it's not and why it's not and what things that our brand inspectors do in the state of North Dakota to protect our beef herd, but also other livestock as well. So I think that's fairly important. And let's be honest, right now, beef has been increasing. We're seeing consumers just in the month of March buy more beef, about 11% more than they had been in the past. We have 65% of all U.S. consumers are doing some sort of online grocery shopping. And of that, 45% of them are always adding fresh beef to their orders. So thank you for doing that and continuing to promote what we're doing for our beef industry across the state. That's awesome.
Me and Dean were thinking about going in on a cow. We were thinking about it until we saw the dollar amount.
Beef isn't cheap. There's still a lot of beef out there, though.
It's still cheap.
Now,
it's still cheaper than buying it in the store.
Oh, it definitely is.
And you were looking at getting all the cuts, right? All of the steak, all the roast, etc. So if you were going to buy just ground burger, that's different than getting all of the cuts. But you're exactly right, Justin. That's a big upfront cost. You're getting all of it at once, wrapped, processed, ready to roll for you. So if folks are looking for producers out there that they want to connect with to buy locally raised beef, there's a lot of folks. We'd be happy to help them out with that whenever they'd like.
Yeah, one of them is I'm pretty sure that they do local sales, not just big orders, and that's Butcher's Edge in Edgeley.
Yes, they're at Edgeley. Yep. And we've got several local butcher shops right in the Fargo-Moorhead area. And some producers, if you placed an order with them, they will have an animal slaughtered and processed to your specifications. So how many pounds do you want of ground beef versus roasts, etc. They'll help you do that kind of thing too. So it works out really well.
Yeah, it is. I remember it was a few years ago, my parents actually went in. They got I think it was half of a cow. That was a lot of meat. It lasted us quite a while.
Depends how many people are eating it, right? Because I'm the oldest of 4 kids. For us, we could easily go through an entire beef very quickly. And we were processing probably every year that we were buying an entire animal. And I shouldn't say buying. Right. We just went and picked one out of the yard and finished it off and then got it done. Now, when it comes to processing, you mentioned earlier one of the Tyson plants that had a small fire. This is in Nebraska, and this is actually a plant where they process hogs, and they process about 8,200 hogs per day, which is roughly 2% of the daily U.S. hog slaughtering number. So it's not a huge amount. That fire held them back for just a few days, and they've been pretty much up and running again. And in fact, hogs that were being directed there for processing were then moved to other facilities so that they could continue without really any hiccups into the supply chain. Bridget, so we're feeling good about that.
Do they know what caused that fire?
I did not see a cause of fire. It sounded like it was a fairly minor situation, just held them up for a day or two.
Are you sure?
No, you guys. I'm positive.
This is how many fires have we had at processing plants this year now?
Not necessarily just this year, but if you look back over the last 4 or 5, you've probably seen a higher number of them. But remember, it's not like we're building new packing plants everywhere. A lot of them are of age, and breakdowns and fires happen.
Okay.
That's just my thoughts.
Okay.
I just took the wind right out of your sails.
You really did. You didn't even play along.
Nope. You stir that wind right back up so we can have some guys go plant sugar beets that want to get in the field, please. That'd be great.
Will do.
Well, speaking of the wind, it's pretty light today, but we'll be picking up a little bit as we head over the next couple of days. It's just unfortunate. It's going to be coming with some rain here or there around our area. And Dean, what does the rest of the week into the weekend look like? Because I know we got fishing opener coming up here, Mother's Day. People got outdoor plans.
They do. And I know we've got rain in the forecast as we head into tonight. But today, I would have to say today is probably one of those days, if you're seeing enough sunshine, with the light winds. It's not often you get mild temperatures like this in the mid to upper 70s, near 80 with light winds. So get out and enjoy today. This might be one of those top 10 days of the year because clouds will thicken up. We'll see scattered storms developing as we head into tonight, and more widespread rain starting tomorrow into early Saturday. But it doesn't look like anything overly heavy. So that's the good news right now. Now, obviously, if you get caught under any of these thunderstorm complexes, yeah, you're going to pick up a little bit more, but about a half inch to an inch across the area with heavier amounts to the west. The rain should start to diminish by late Saturday. The first half of the day looks wet and breezy as well. Temperatures cooling off this weekend into the 60s. Not one of the best weekends, but at least it does improve by Mother's Day. We put an order in for nice weather on Mother's Day because we don't want to hear the end of that. And it looks like we will have some pretty decent weather as we head into Mother's Day, at least improving compared to Saturday with a little bit of sunshine, a little breeze, and temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. So that's not too bad. That's not bad at all.
Not bad one bit.
Yeah.
And I kind of prefer the almost cooler temperatures, like upper 60s to mid 70s. That's just like money.
Really? See, I think today's perfect. Close to 80, light breeze. It's absolutely gorgeous out there.
Can I tell you after 2 o'clock when I get a chance to go outside in the yard, I'm going to tell you how nice it may or may not be because I have been at my desk all morning, so I'm ready to go out and do something different.
I hear you.
Speaking of something different,
here.
Exactly. That's who I was going to introduce, and that would be Bethany Rents. Bethany is with Irie Insurance, who happens to be one of the sponsors of Here We Grow, our 20-acre soybean project to take our profits to the Great Plains Food Bank. Bethany's going to talk about upcoming crop insurance deadlines. You know, you guys mentioned hail earlier, or maybe not far off on some of that, and anything else that might be in the decision-making process for us to do as we get ready to Here We Grow. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep. He didn't stop by simply creating the best pillow. Mike created the Giza Dream Bed Sheets. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Mike found the world's best cotton called Giza. Ultra soft, breathable, but extremely durable. Mike's Giza Sheets, they come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and about a 10-year warranty. Giza Dream Sheets come in a variety of sizes and colors. Mike's latest incredible deal is the sale of the year. For a limited time, you're going to receive 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets. You will receive a set for as low as $29.98. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square, and use promo code WDAY. There you'll find not only this amazing offer, but also deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including MyPillow 2.0 mattress topper, MyPillow towel sets, and so much more. Call 1-800-875-0644. Use promo code WDAY. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code WDAY.
Here's another innovative Voodoo Ranger IPA from New Belgium Brewing Company. It's called Fruit Force. Fruit Punch IPA. Fruit Force is an American-style hazy imperial IPA. Little fruit punch twist to it. Really good. It's what they like to call a hop forward. So look for the Fruit Force Fruit Punch IPA from Voodoo Ranger. Available in your local liquor stores in North Dakota and Minnesota and proudly distributed by your friends at Beverage Wholesalers.
Now is the perfect time to upgrade your kitchen with new appliances from Regals. Get up to $2,000 back on select GE Profile appliances now through June 1st, featuring the latest smart home technology, providing a simpler and smarter cooking and cleaning experience. Smart technology meets unbeatable prices, plus free delivery and free recycling of your old appliances. Find out why for over 75 years, Regals has delivered value. Regals, 609 Main Avenue, Moorhead.
What do eyewear and weather have in common? Join us for the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast to find out. Each Tuesday morning, Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm, and myself, Ashley Freeborn, owner of Aspire Optical, will bring you the 7-day forecast.
You never know where we'll be or how it will be presented, but we promise to bring you the most accurate forecast this side of the Red River.
And learn how you can save big on eyewear from Aspire Optical.
Watch the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages.
Trust us, this is weather and eyewear like you've never seen.
Old Man Winter's moving on out, and it's time to put a spring back in your step. Hi, Teresa here from the local Red Wings shoe store, and I'm here to tell you that Red Wings are not only for hardworking individuals. We've got footwear for every occasion, and here at Red Wings Shoes, we have partnered with Volumental and Superfeet to offer 3D printed orthotics. So stop on in and check it out for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wings Shoes for ultimate durability.
Nicer weather means driving more and more miles on your vehicle. Keep it in tip-top shape with Jiffy Lube of Fargo and their exclusive signature service oil change. Whether you use high mileage, synthetic blend, or full synthetic motor oil, the Jiffy Lube of Fargo signature service oil change will keep your auto running at its best. With a comprehensive preventative maintenance check and fill of all underhood fluids, you can scratch one thing off your spring cleaning checklist. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, locally owned and operated, where you can do more in a jiffy.
So I was thinking it's Friday night date night.
Yeah, I know. 3 Lines Pub.
Yes, the date night special. 2 meals and 2 glasses of wine for $30. Or I can get a whole bottle for $35 and you can get a variety of beer on tap.
You know, we can swing by during the week. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are takeover trivia nights.
With great prizes.
Blackout Bingo's the last Tuesday of the month. Discounts for first responders, military, and seniors every day.
Friends, food, and fun at 3 Lions Pub on 13th Avenue in West Fargo.
Welcome back to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I got this one right. I'm Bridget Riedel, Ag Director. Earlier, Justin Storm, meteorologist extraordinaire, tried to identify himself as Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, but I can see you guys and your names are going to pop up on the screen so people can identify who you are.
What if it's one of those Freaky Friday situations, though?
Do you really want to be Dean?
Yeah.
Careful. What's wrong with me?
Nothing, but I really asked about Dean.
I said
Gotcha.
Freaky Friday. Our brains switched around.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, don't let that happen to you because you would miss out on the chance to work with one of our sponsors from Here We Grow, and that would be the Steffes Group. Their website, steffesgroup.com, will show you any upcoming auctions. If you're interested in looking at land, equipment, etc., they have a place to help you out. But our other sponsor for today of Here We Grow is Irie Insurance. And joining us today on the line is Bethany Rentz. She is with Irie. Bethany, it is so good to see you. Thank you for joining us on our live stream today.
Good afternoon.
So, lots of questions. Folks want to get back in the field. I had asked you about this the other day. I think we're ready to answer it. What are our planting deadlines, if you will, for insurance? How does that work? Why do we have to plant corn in Cass County by a different day than we might in Trail? Any insight you can give us into that? Can we kind of talk about that just a little bit?
That's a great question, Bridget. So with the final plant dates, they vary by crop and by county. And so where Bridget just mentioned corn in Cass County, the final plant date on that is May 31st. Where in Trail County, it's May 25th. So something that's very important to keep in mind is as we approach these final plant dates, to make sure that we stay within that window. There is, of course, the late plant period, which happens after we have reached that final plant date, and that does affect your insurance. So reach out to your agent, give us a call, and we'll make sure that we are on the same page as far as what our final plant dates are. And again, they vary from by crop and county.
And Bethany, in terms of hail insurance, what's the deadline to purchase hail insurance? Do you have to do that the season before? What's the cutoff date on that?
So a lot of our clients actually will bundle their crop insurance to include their multi-peril as well as their hail. Now, as we know, the multi-peril deadline is March 15th, but with hail insurance, we've got the opportunity to add that level of coverage to your policies up until 2 hours before a storm hits, actually. So now is a really good time if we're forecasting bad weather to be thinking about this, although a lot of our crops haven't emerged quite yet. It's a good time to be thinking about it.
So obviously, if you're going to add hail insurance at, I'll just say, the last minute, if you see a big storm rolling in from the west and it's producing hail and you're like, uh-oh, all right, I've got to get insurance on this. Obviously, the price is a little different with the last minute, correct?
So actually, the prices, it doesn't vary based on time. It's just that window is important to make sure that we've got the coverage in place before the storm hits.
Okay.
Because if the storm hits and we have not got that coverage in place, then unfortunately the crop is not insured. So, and the other thing with the crop or the hail insurance, that does not have to stay with your multi-peril policy.
So that's a huge thing right there. As a kid growing up, we didn't have cell phones, of course, but my dad would call literally as you could see the storm coming across the horizon, and he would call our agent and be like, yeah, you want to put me down for hail insurance? So I like the fact that we can't quite do that anymore. Bethany's giving us some parameters, but that's where people can rely on what Justin and Dean do with the LRC, because we tell you what weeks look to be stormy this summer. And should you plan ahead for when you should be putting your hail insurance on if things start to look a little bit rough. In fact, we had one of our farmers send us the message while we did our spring special and say, do you think you're going to have an elevated amount of hail this summer, guys? What's our response to that? Because maybe Bethany wants to write down the days she should spend more time in the office in order to write hail insurance policies.
And by all means, we don't want you to wait until that 2-hour window before a hailstorm hits, but it is an option if you want to increase your coverage or add coverage. You're certainly able to do that at any time.
So I got a question on that. Say I call up, I want to throw insurance, hail insurance on our 20 acres of soybeans. And that, let's say I miss that 2-hour window. How do you verify? How do you make sure that that storm didn't come through at an hour after calling or 3 hours after calling? I mean, how could somebody, or how do you not get away with, faking that window? If you know what I'm trying to say here, I don't know how to exactly put it in words.
Right. So we of course like to think that everybody's honest there, but we do, there's satellite imagery that tracks the storms pretty closely. I know when prior to being an agent, I was an adjuster. And so it's amazing as the stages of the crops come along, it's easy to tell where they were at when these hailstorms hit. And so if I say, oh, it happened, 2 weeks ago when I put the insurance on, it happened today, but I put the insurance on today and the storm was actually 2 weeks ago, that's pretty easy to be seen as well. Now, that doesn't make it quite within that 2-hour window. That's probably a little bit more difficult to tell. However, we track it based on time, satellite imagery, as well as when we receive the notification that client wants that hail insurance added to their policy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So is that something that you guys do internally, or do you work with like a weather consultant that does stuff with insurance?
So we put the policies on with the approved insurance providers that we work with, and then it becomes their adjusters actually will take a look at the imagery and the time frames, as well as the damage in the field to see if that lines up to be a payable hail policy.
So many things going on here, so many questions. In fact, Bethany, we're going to have one for you that's when we come back from our break. That is, what do farmers and ranchers have to worry about if it comes to flood insurance? And if they do. So if you want to quick do your research and be ready for us, we're going to come back right after this and we're going to ask you that question to answer for us, Bethany from Irie Insurance. Talk to y'all in a moment.
Honey, great news. It's been 6 months and we've saved enough money in our swear jar for a new roof.
Oh, wow. That's just the news I wanted to hear, said no one ever.
Don't wait for your swear jar to fill up before you call Fargo Roofing and Siding. Protect your house now and deal with the repair in a non-stressful way. We also offer financing to fit your budget.
Let's make the call and get this roof fixed online at FargoRoofing.com.
Premium quality, premium service, Fargo values, Fargo Roofing and Siding.
Adam with Cheyenne Gardens is here. Many people have vegetable gardens, and lots of people have staples in their garden, Adam. What are some of those staples, and what would you recommend that they can plant here in mid-May?
So right now, early May, we should be looking at getting our cabbage or our cold crops in, cabbage and broccoli, our onions and our potatoes in, because we want to get them in as early as we can in the spring. And then I would move on to my later crop, my green beans, kind of the middle of May, and then I would look at tomatoes, peppers, the melons and the cucumbers and squash, kind of towards the end of May, about Memorial Day time. That's my goals usually.
All right, so if someone wants to start a vegetable garden, what is a great crop for a first time to plant, and how much room do you need for different kinds of vegetables?
So when we do a tomato, we use lots of tomatoes because everyone likes tomatoes. I would go to a cherry tomato because I have a little less issue with blossom end rot, and I would give that like a 4x4 area with a big heavy tomato cage. Then I would do a bush cucumber, and a bush cucumber gets about the size of a card table. Cucumber and tomato, that's a pretty good salad. And then if you like bell peppers, a bell pepper's another good one. That needs about 1.5 feet to 2 feet by 2 feet.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Adam. Cheyenne Gardens is a great place to wander, admire, and explore the largest variety of trees, shrubs, and bedding plants in the area. Just 10 minutes from Fargo up I-29 in Harwood. Put Cheyenne Gardens on top of your list as the best place to visit for your gardening and landscaping this year.
Hi there, Steve Hallstrom here, inviting you to join me and a bunch of my friends from the station for the Fargo Marathon Family 5K Fun Run. The 5K is for everybody. Walk, jog, pull the kids in the wagon, whatever you want to do, it's all about getting outside. We'll line up in the Fargo Dome for the start and finish, and we all get a t-shirt and a medal. It's all the fun of Marathon Week without all the work. Friday, May 19th, 6:30 p.m., a perfect way to say hello to summer. Get signed up at fargomarathon.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep, switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Staples has everything to help small businesses do big things. Shipping supplies and services so you can fill big orders. The latest tech so you can create the next big thing. And now during Staples Small Business Deal Days, when rewards members spend $100 or more, they get $30 back in rewards to use on big things, little things, or anything they need. Plus, find new deals in-store every week on tech, office chairs, and shipping supplies. Because for small businesses, Staples knows savings are a big thing. Rewards offer ends 5/13, limit 1, redeemable in-store only.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It's 1:34 this afternoon. We're speaking with Bethany Rentz from Irie Insurance. And if you'd like to get in on the conversation, ask a question, feel free to do so by calling us on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. Or you can always reach us via email during or after our shows at weather@flagfamily.com, as well as ag@flagfamily.com. And before we went to break, we were teasing on a question that came in via email. And Bethany was hoping you could explain a little bit more about flood insurance and coverage when it comes to farmers and ranchers.
So that's kind of a twofold answer that I'll have for you. It depends on what is being flooded. Is it the field that's being flooded or a property, a structure? In the case of livestock, barns. If that's the case, it would be something that one of our property and casualty agents would be able to speak with you directly on. I myself handle crop insurance, and so if it happens to be about a flooded field, standing water fields we're not going to be able to have planted, then that's where we flip the page over to talk about prevented plant. And so again, prevented plant happens after the final plant dates have come and gone, and we're not able to get into those fields and get those planted for this crop year. So each individual farmer takes out their multi-peril policy by March 15th every year. And at that point, we elect our prevented plant coverage in there as well. So a lot of our clients are familiar with how prevented plant works, but every year we run into a few questions about what is my eligibility and where do I sit for this crop and level of coverage. So if you run into that situation, those are conversations that we want to have with you as soon as you have decided that you're likely not going to get these crops planted. So hopefully the weather cooperates and we won't have too much prevented plant, but there is always that conversation every time this time of year.
And Beth,
right, and you had said,
go ahead,
Dean.
No, go ahead.
Sure. Okay, you had mentioned that the prevented plant or the plant date for corn here in Cass was May 31st. What is it for soybeans?
Soybeans is going to be June 10th.
So what happens, let's just say worst case scenario comes in here and we can't get our seed in the ground till June 10th. I don't see that happening. But again, hypothetical. What does that prevented plant after that date do to your insurance coverage on that crop? And is there like a time frame where it's like you get 10 days past that, and then if you go past that, then you kind of drop down in coverage, kind of like a ladder effect? Is that kind of how it works, or how does the whole preventive planting affect your coverage on your crop?
That's a great question. So if you end up in a prevented plant situation, those acres that are unable to be planted, as I mentioned, when we elect your multi-peril coverage every year, we are able to elect a coverage level, but also there's what they call a prevented plant buy-up. And so prevented plant covers 55% or 60% if you buy up the policy. Now, if you are to plant into the late plant period, you will still have the coverage. Of course, that wouldn't be prevented plant, but that would reduce your insurance by 1% per day until the end of the late plant period.
And Bethany, I've got a couple of questions. First, you said you used to be an adjuster. What is the strangest situation that you've seen that they tried to make a claim on? Like, my cow got loose, got in the house, and got in the fireplace, knocked one of the logs out, and burned the kitchen down. I mean, what's the craziest thing that you've seen?
Thankfully, I was able to adjust for mostly, most every farmer I was able to adjust for did everything pretty well by the books. But, there's always the instance where you'll have someone say, well, you measured the bin wrong or something like that. I did run into an instance where somebody said we had measured the bin wrong, but 3/4 of the production that was in there was missing. So that was the biggest thing. As far as a hailstorm, though, it's pretty easy to tell if, livestock or wildlife got into the field versus whether it was an actual hailstorm. So unfortunately, deer don't leave bruises. They just chew it off.
Yeah. and for let's say somebody is just taking over their family farm and dad has passed on all the information he can to the kids, but is there, for somebody that's new to farming, is there any type of insurance that you, let's say most would overlook, that you would recommend?
I'd suggest you give us a call to sit down and just make sure you fully understand how crop insurance works. Crop insurance, for lack of better words, you could say, is a beast of its own. And there's so many different components that go into your crop insurance policy, from the level of coverage and the difference by per crop and the unit structure, how many acres. There's just so many moving parts that I think it's very beneficial for a new producer to come in and sit down with us and let's go through all of the scenarios of the components of crop insurance.
So Bethany, kind of on top of that, I want to give a shout out to the fact that, like you said, you're specifically looking at crop insurance. But with IRE insurance, someone also would want to have a visit with you about two things that I think of that are a big deal on the farm these days. One is liability, We're in planting season. If you're going down the road in transport mode and someone comes along behind you, not paying attention, runs into your equipment, who's covered for that liability? Or if your implement becomes detached, goes down the ditch, wipes out mailboxes and good knows whatever else, how is that all covered? Those are real life insurance situations that farmers have to think about. And the second one is your buildings. As I went through the countryside this winter months, you would be stunned at how many shops, machine sheds, older granaries had roof collapses. And if you're not covered for that, how are you going to not only think about that structure, but the equipment that's inside of it? I had a farmer tell me at lunch yesterday, he only puts his new equipment in his newer building because that way he makes sure that it's safe rather than putting in an older structure that might not be able to carry insurance. So agree, disagree, Bethany, any tidbits you want to throw out? I know you're from a farm family too and have seen a lot of things.
I agree with you 100%, Bridget. And that is something that's so unique about Irie Insurance is we have agents that kind of specialize in all of these different types of lines of insurance. So we've got specific agents that cover, crop insurance, like I myself do, as well as property, casualty, life, and health, and all sorts of lines of insurance. So it is very important to make sure that your farm and your individual homes, all of that is covered properly, because we don't ever want to end up in a situation where we are not covered to the capacity that we should be. So we're grateful to have everybody on our team that are experts in each individual line of insurance that they are.
I got another one for you here, Bethany. This is kind of pertaining to the Farm Bill, and I don't know if insurance is wrapped up somewhere on page 963 of the Farm Bill or not, but if it is, what might happen with insurance or coverage with this new Farm Bill that's coming in? Are there any concerns or thoughts from you on it?
That's a loaded question. I think that there's still some. How much time do we have? I think that there are. I think that there definitely will be some changes, and now that's another thing that we at Irie Insurance have is we've got a director of governmental affairs, and so he just spent some time down in Washington D.C. and I haven't had a chance to visit with him again yet since he's been back from the meetings there. But I'm anxious to hear his perspective again after some time in DC this last week. So to say, will it affect crop insurance? I think I would be crazy to say no, it's not going to affect it at all. But to what extent? I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I think there's a lot more research that needs to be done. Yeah.
I think that's a fair statement. There's a lot going on within the Farm Bill. We know that the deadline is September 30th. Most legislators are telling us that we're not going to make it by the 30th. But I do think that crop insurance is a smaller portion of the Farm Bill. I agree with Bethany. We just don't know what that outcome looks like yet, but there will be some changes, is my guess.
I think so too, and that's why I'm hoping they have some more insight after some time out in DC this week.
Do you find, Bethany, that you have growers, 'cause I know you're in the Red River Valley, but cover a wide swath. Do you have growers who come in and are asking about a specialty crop, maybe like a camelina or a triticale that they want to raise and haven't done that before? And can you cover them for crop insurance, or how do you handle some of those really small acreage, unusual items that might come across your desk?
Sure. So if it's not an insurable crop in our counties that we work in and where these producers are growing these crops, they would either be an uninsurable crop or, depending on the scenario, we do have the option to write like a written agreement, which it would have to be approved by RMA, and those crops could be insured that way for a couple of years. And sometimes when written agreements are in place, after a number of years of gathering data, they do become an insurable crop in the county.
Okay, so there can be some time built into those. And as I know, we get into our last couple of moments, or we got a couple of minutes here. Crop insurance dates. Where can folks find the dates by crop, by county, so that they aren't missing those? And then would there be some criteria they should think about for preventive plant? What's your advice there?
Yes, absolutely. So the RMA website has the actuarial information browser on the website. And it's pretty easy to find once you're on the website, as long as you have a general understanding of the layout there. I would recommend just giving us a call, and we'll walk through with you as you're driving down the field what those dates are, and we can always send them to you in a message too. But it is hidden a little bit in there if you know what you're looking for, but it does allow you to put in there the type of crop, the county, as well as the policy type that you've taken out. So if it's a revenue protection policy, all of that is able to be keyed in there as well. So to answer the second part of your question, Bridget, in regards to prevented plant, there are certain things, your unit structure makes a difference as far as how your prevented plant acres can be added together. Is it enterprise units or is it optional units? Did you plant corn on the field if you're calling it PP corn? If not, is it still eligible to be called PP corn? There are so many moving pieces with it. And again, it helps for us to be able to dive into your policy to make sure that we are guiding you the best way to report those prevented plant acres.
So guys, I can't hardly wait until you decide what we're going to do for crop insurance for our 20 acres.
Can we even get crop insurance on 20 acres? What's the smallest unit you can get insurance on? Like, I don't know if it's like a standard size or like, could someone insure 1 acre of corn?
Yeah, as long as it's done before March 15th.
Awesome.
Guys,
we got 4 days.
We got till Monday. We got time.
March 15th, not May 15th.
Oh, shoot.
No insurance.
Sorry.
We're hosed.
Hey, we
We're
can
done.
talk about hail insurance for those 20 acres, though.
I need that.
Now that's a salesman. So Bethany, we so much appreciate the fact that Irie Insurance is acting as a sponsor for us with our Here We Grow project, but also for you coming on today. I don't think this is an infomercial. This is certainly a whole lot better than that because we're asking real life questions that matter. So how would people find you if they want to reach out, Bethany?
Absolutely. Please go to our website, which is irieins.com, and find under the locations, you'll find our individual office numbers. We do have several locations. I am based out of the Hillsborough office, and I would be happy to answer any of your crop insurance questions that you may have. So please feel free to look at our website and give us a call.
And we will. And thanks so much again for joining us today, folks. Sure, the American Ag Network update is next, and we will be back right after that.
It's about tradition, values, and family ties. Pucklet Chevrolet GMC's tradition of giving back to our community remains a priority, and that's why we've partnered with many local nonprofit organizations and events. And our tradition of giving this community a fair and honest offer continues. Right now, you can save over $6,000 on select new Chevy Silverado 1500s. We're Pucklet Chevrolet GMC in Valley City. Tradition, values, and family ties.
See dealer for details.
Attention Class A truck drivers. Plains Grain and Agronomy is looking for a full-time Class A driver in Marion, North Dakota. Plains Grain and Agronomy has a great culture, great pay, and full benefits for full-time employees. If you take pride in your work and want to offer great customer service, join the Plains Grain and Agronomy team of drivers today. Apply online. plainsgrain.com. That's plainsgrain.com.
Janae from the Coffee Club here to let you know the Hot Works Fitness Center is opening soon in Moorhead on Highway 10 East. A unique style of infrared fitness, great for not only weight loss, but improved circulation, muscle recovery, reducing inflammation, stress reduction, and detoxification. If you become a VIP member right now, it's only $10 to enroll and $44 a month. So save $15 a month and become a founding member of the Hot Works Fitness Center in Moorhead. Find Hot Works Moorhead on Facebook.
The Fargo Force will host the Youngstown Phantoms in the first 2 games of the Clark Cup Championship Series this weekend, and we have family 4-packs from Jiffy Lube of Fargo for you to win.
Listen to Bonnie and Friends in Primetime Sports. When you hear the horn sound for a winning goal, then be caller number 4 and you will win a 4-pack of Fargo Force playoff tickets.
Games at Shields Arena Friday and Saturday night. Listen to WDAY Radio for your chance to win Force playoff tickets.
Thanks to Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy.
Rich Rispa with American Ag Network here for this market update. We're chatting with Arlen Suderman, Chief Economist of Stone X. Arlen, we started the numbers were negative today, but I see soybean complex is starting to make a move here. Is it just kind of being pulled up by the meal? What's going on in the markets today?
Well, first of all, we've got regional bank worries again on Wall Street with another regional bank struggling with when it reported that it lost significant depositor funds last week, depositors pulling their funds from the bank, and that raised concerns again on Wall Street. We seem to have calmed down from that a little bit. That kind of initiated the fears about recession early in the day, and we saw general weakness across the commodity spectrum as well as the equities. First commodity really to make a jump on that easing has been soybeans. USDA is expected to tighten up old crop stocks a little bit more, and traders expect that to continue to happen through the summer. And our supplies are tight. Export demand is soft. Crushing demand is generally good. So with the price break that we've seen of late, we've seen a little bit more demand come in and support those the bull spreading in those old crop contracts.
Well, and tomorrow we've got the highly anticipated USDA WASDE report coming out. What do you think we're going to see in that report tomorrow?
The expectation is that we're going to see USDA further tighten both domestic and global wheat stocks, but the market's not really worried about that right now. It's been in the news a long time, and the market thinks that it's been priced in. I personally think that it's going to be surprised at how small the wheat production number is, but we'll see how far USDA goes in this report. On the corn and soybean side, the trade is expecting USDA to show that new crop corn and soybean supplies are going to get larger.
Those have been comments by Arlen Suderman of Stone X. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
Hey, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Want to thank everybody for joining us this afternoon. A beautiful afternoon. Temperatures creeping up a little bit. Temperatures just north of the FM area at 80. 80 degrees now in Hillsboro. Checking in at 76 now here in the FM area with mid to upper 70s, pretty common across much of the area. There will be some areas that even poke into the low 80s this afternoon. So, boy, that's just a sign of summer not too far away. And with summer comes hail. And I believe Bridget's, is she going to try and stump the chump?
I got a question.
Oh, I thought you had a little trivia question or trivia.
Well, it is a trivia question.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you guys.
Stump.
Okay.
Oh,
so
play the sounder.
Ready? Find the button, Dean. Find the button.
I don't know which one it is. What's it labeled there, Justin?
Trivia.
On May 29th, 1986, hailstones up to what size and diameter pounded the south shore of Montreal, Quebec, causing more than $65 million in damages?
Okay, repeat the question.
May 29th, 1986, hailstones up to what diameter pounded the south shore of Montreal, Quebec, causing more than $65 million in damages?
Look at him Googling over there.
No.
I
I
can
was gonna
see
say,
those
I hear
fingers
you
just do.
typing.
Oh, here, I can do that too.
I'm going to guess, let's see, tennis ball.
Guess. I'm going to go 4.8 inches.
Okay, is a tennis ball 3 inches in diameter? Because that I'm not sure of.
Yes.
Because it's 3 inches in diameter. Okay. So that's what it was.
Thank goodness for Google.
Google wins again.
Yeah, millions in crop
So-
losses. I'm reading on that too.
Well, at the end of May in Quebec, it would have been, because even though Quebec is in Canada, you got to think about it, they're kind of on the same meridian as Nebraska. So realistically, they plant sooner than we do, which Nebraska is currently planting. There's some crop up in that area as well. So I could see where if they had had an early planting year, yeah, that would definitely have brought a lot of crop loss. We haven't had it here yet because we don't have a lot of things out of the ground.
No, did you hear about the hail out by Bismarck? Well, I think yesterday we had some hail over around the Devil's Lake
2 nights.
Basin, points southwestward, but 2 nights ago, just over Bismarck and northwest of Bismarck, they got so much hail, they had to bust out snow plows.
Yep, it was up to the running boards on four-wheel drive vehicles. I got some pictures of it. It was tremendous.
Oh,
And
it was crazy.
the one question I don't know, and I would love it if a listener has someone in the western part of the state that experienced it, you can reach us at 701-293-9000. What was the duration of that storm? How long did it take for that much hail to fall, to pile up, that you needed a snowplow to move it off the roads? I'd be very curious what that timeline was. So if anybody knows, let me know.
I wasn't looking at it overly closely besides finally seeing purple on a radar, but I think at the speed it was moving, it couldn't have been much more than 40 minutes.
Jeez, that's a long time for hail to fall, though. Just think about the damage to trees.
That's just a guess, but I think it was chugging at about 20 miles an hour, 15.
That's a whole lot of hail.
Yeah, that'll do some damage. It popped up on my Facebook timeline. Was it back in 2005 or 2006 down in Nebraska? They had 3 feet of hail. I mean, how's that for a storm that's just parked over one area, and you end up with 3 feet of hail? Holy moly!
Man,
now every farmer listening is thinking, do not talk about this in 3 weeks when there's crop out of the ground. This is bad JoJo. Don't let it happen.
Right.
Let's make sure that we can skip that or maybe I should have said juju, whatever. It's the bad vibe. And we don't want that to be the consideration that could happen this year. Is hail a part of every year in farming? It is, but nobody hopes for that because it not only damages the cropland that's up, it can also do damage to pastures, fences. I don't want to be the cow out on pasture getting pummeled by a tennis ball size hail. That sounds terrible. I just want to say, yes.
If the only one who wants hail is somebody that wants a new roof on their house.
Siding too.
You better have that project
siding
lined
too.
up.
Hit a couple windows, nail the siding. I could do some new soffits now that I think about it.
It's been
just go right through the roof. Go through the whole roof.
Thanks.
I'm so glad I don't live by you. So glad.
So this actually happened. Where was this? Central U.S., maybe Nebraska potentially, but it was hailstones, and they actually ripped through the roof and through the ceiling and were landing inside of people's houses, or at least a couple people's houses. And I think the hailstone was like 6 inches wide.
Goodness, that's incredible. It's like a brick coming through
it
the
is
window.
A brick.
Yeah.
It's falling at like 80 miles an hour.
Oof.
No thanks. I'm good without that kind of destruction in my life.
Hey, since we're kind of talking about crops and whatnot, we haven't really touched on this whole lot, and it's going to be a theme that'll come up occasionally throughout the spring and summer, and that's 2023 Garden Wars with Bridget and I.
We have. Yeah.
And
Want to explain that?
have you got your whole garden up and going yet?
Not even tilled yet. It's been chilly, wet.
You see, mine's still grass covered too.
Okay. Yeah, you've got a lot further work to do than I do. You've got to get rid of your grass or sod before you start digging. And I'm really hoping to maybe buy plants this weekend. I'll keep you posted on how that goes once I bring home all of the new little adoptees and get them ready to go outside.
I got all mine under lights right now in our basement. I got corn, peppers, tomatoes, squash, cucumbers. Yeah, I got a good set amount of everything.
Any other quote unquote plants growing underneath those lights there, Storm?
Well, of
don't
course.
ask, don't tell. Stop. Don't ask, don't tell, guys.
Okay.
Really. I don't need to know this.
Yeah, actually, I got a banana tree under one of them too.
That's right. Whatever happened with that last year?
It's still growing, man. It's growing.
All right.
It's like 2 feet tall
My
now.
lemon?
It's almost ready. One or a year, another 2, it'll be producing bananas. But that'll do it for us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon. The Jay Thomas Show is next.
AM 970 and FM 93.1.